Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And first of all, I post a brand new series over Anime King 3. What if the Naruto universe had quirks? Go ahead and check that out guys. A rather interesting, a bit of a neglect story, so go ahead check it out. And tell me if you enjoy guys, I'll be posting part 2 as soon as possible. But right here I'm going to be giving you part 2 of What If Madara was sealed inside of Naruto at birth. Part 2 guys, if you enjoy seeing 1C part 3, go ahead comment down below and tell me you want part 3 and I'll be posting it as soon as possible for you guys to enjoy. And also if you're new, yes I indeed have 4 channels that I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. Anime King and Making 2 and Making 3, Anime Prints guys, so go ahead check them all out. Links will be down in the description. So without further ado or wasting any more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. So, the last spot we left off. Obito Uchiha, going by the name Tobi now, was moving through the corridor. Off the Hokage's tower as he made his way. It did not take him too long as he came across a few ninjas. Obito felt literally untouchable. Yes, he felt like he was a god as he glided and moved. No one could even touch him, he was a literal god, a being that was untouchable. No one. As he was going by the name Tobi, he moved, ending life to the flick of his wrists. As he dived into the abyss of darkness, no one could even touch him. As he arrived inside when he saw Danzo Shamira sitting in the Hokage's seat. Something was going on, it seems. He used his technique to probe Danzo's mind and he got what he wanted. It turns out that Kushina was giving birth tonight. And that was a brilliant chance for him to get what he wanted, so with that, Obito made his big move as he made his way over there. After killing the guards, he entered inside. Upon entering, Obito quickly used his eyes to enter her mindscape. Upon doing that, he removed his mask as he used a large sum of chakra to suck the fox out. The seal was already broken. Kushina was the only thing containing it. Once he was able to suck it away from her, he had it in his dimension. Minato moved and cracked his mask when Kushina said his name. Minato couldn't believe it. If the man wasn't his sensei, Obito was sure that he would be dead by now, because the man only held back so, to find out if it was truly him. However, the man did not kill him and here, he was alive. However, that was a mistake that he made. He should have ended him because now, Obito got what he wanted. Quickly moving in, Obito wastes absolutely no time, as once he was able to do it, he quickly sucked himself away, along with the Nine Tails. He arrived and found his master Madara as he bowed to him, telling him about his success. Madara told him to pull him into the dimension, which he did. About 5 minutes later, he pulled him out back as Madara was young. He had used the fox life force and energy to turn himself back to his prime, as he was back. And he took the fox and he told Obito that he would be back for him, as Obito was grateful that he would get to see Rain once again. So with that, he went to Konoha. Madara launched an attack on Konoha with the nine-tailed fox. Hiruzen started Tobi quickly jumped into the fray as he used Enma to knock the fox straight out of here. He was baffled and shocked when he saw none other than Madara stand on top of the fox's head, as he couldn't believe it. They clashed as Madara was able to knock him away as he crashed hard on the ground. He rushed towards where Minato teleported the fox towards, as he saw a barrier. Minato was about to seal the nine tails inside of his child. He screamed at Minato not to seal the fox inside of him instead. However, Minato did not listen. Or if he did, he, well, pretended to ignore him. So with that, the fox was sealed inside of Naruto. Walking over as Hiruzen touched the child, however, what he felt was a chakra so much more sinister, it made him shiver. The Uchiha was inside of him. Minato somehow sealed Madara inside of Naruto as well, as Naruto's eyes twitched, the three told him Sharingan, before they returned back to Blue. 4 years passed, as Naruto had a rough life in the orphanage. The caretakers seemingly allowed the kids to pick on him, and they wouldn't give him the special food. He only could eat this soft, saggy rice. As Naruto went to his favorite spot and just relaxed, when someone arrived and this girl came there. They got into a bit of argument as Naruto pushed her. Everyone treated her like a princess there, so he apologized thinking that she would tell, but she did not. She eventually introduced herself. Her name was Hinata Senju. It turns out that her last name had a lot of weight behind it. Naruto and her became friends after that. They became good friends. No one could touch Naruto when she was around as they fear the wrath that she would bring upon them in the future, so they acted nice as Naruto also got good food. In the council room though, as they were arguing about which clan Hinata must go to, the Senju, the Hyuga, or any other clan, Shikaku did not see it that way. All of them just want to use the girl, as he didn't really care about their fuss. As even the Uchiha agree with Hyuga in this state, give the Senju over towards her. After all, having a Senju with the Uchiha as well, given their history, that would not be such a good thing. As Hinata and Naruto had become such close friends, however, they were unaware that their friendship was about to be broken, and so soon. So yeah guys, basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the playset of yourself, and what do you say? You go ahead and check out the other episodes, guys. Yes, I indeed have 4 channels, and I also post a new series over Anime King 3, so go ahead and enjoy that, guys. So without further ado, wasting more time, what do you say we jump right into this new episode? Begin now, guys. Naruto yawned as he sleepily made his way towards the cafeteria. His hair was unkempt, as many students filed in, as they did not send him a dirty look. After all the time that he had spent with Hinata, they knew that they should not make fun of him, lest they would be chewed out by the Senju herself. He grabbed the tray and he sat down in the far back of the room. He didn't want to go and get food until, just as he was thinking it, a tired-looking Hinata walked in as she was clutching onto Kitsune, her favorite foxy plushie toy. Upon seeing him out, she quickly brightened as she rushed over towards him. "Good morning, Naruto-kun," she said, as she sat down next to him, sitting Kitsune down next to both of them. "Did you eat already?" He shook his head. "No, I decided to wait for you to come first." She smiled at him as her cheeks heated up a bit. He was really her best friend and he always think about her. The two went to pick out their food together, and they came back down to sit down and eat. When they finished, they put their trays away as they thought about what they were going to do next. "So, what do you want to do next, Hinata-chan?" he asked her, now that they were done with their meals. Today was Saturday, and the orphanage let them do what they want, except for leaving the compound. They weren't allowed to do that until they were 8 years old. I don't know," she said. "How about we climb up to the roof and think about it then?" As Naruto nodded as they made their way. As Naruto took her hand and dragged her along. When no one was looking, they climbed up a tree that led to the building. It had taken time to convince Hinata that they could do this, as he had promised her that if she fell that he would catch her. However, she came to do it. Now every time they could, they traveled up to the roof as it was the most adventurous thing they could do together. Once they were on the roof, they walked to the other side as it gave them a view of the outside, out of the compound. "This view never gets old," said Naruto as he took a seat next to Hinata. The Senju nodded, completely agreeing with him. "Yeah, I can't wait for the day for us to go outside of here together," she said. "We'll go to the academy and play at the nearby parks, and explore the village together, and find hidden places," and Naruto longed to do all of those things with her as well. It pained him to think that it was only 4 years that separated them, and the gigantic brick walls. But what if she was adopted before then? They would never get to experience all of that together, and he really wanted to do that while they had the time. An idea popped in his head as he nudged her, making her stop as she turned towards him. As Naruto pointed towards the side, she followed his gaze, as all she saw was a tree. She was confused. "What is it, Naruto-kun?" she said. "Look where it leads to," said Naruto. Her eye followed over the thick branches that led over the brick barrier. She could barely see that there was a house that was visible beyond the wall. "There was no way that he could..." "That's our way out," said Naruto. "We could walk across the tree branch and jump onto the roof on the other side of the branch." Her eyes widened, following his thought process. "But Naruto, it's against the rules," she whispered, keeping her voice down so someone would not hear them. Everyone knew that the kids below 8 should not leave. There was always a guard at the gate. "We won't get caught," said Naruto, whispering as well. "We can explore the village together and be back before anyone even know that we're gone." Hinata looked back in front. I don't know, Naruto-kun," she said. She was nervous. "We would really get into big trouble," she said. A part of her really wanted to go, but a part of her was afraid. However, Naruto smiled and took her hand. "Trust me, Hinata-chan," he said, as he was rather close to her, caused her to blush. It's Saturday, and they don't check up on us until dinner time. She turned her gaze to the side, looking away from his piercing blue gaze. I know I won't get in trouble, she said. I'm worried about you getting in trouble, she said. Naruto was taken aback at the large amount of caring that he heard from her voice. It almost made him want to forget his previous plans. It didn't matter how much time he spent with her, he was always immensely touched whenever she expressed her care for him. His smile increased though. Don't worry about me, he said. I'll be just fine as long as we're together. Believe it. You're my guardian angel after all. She released a sigh as she looked at him. Remember, Hinata, we don't have much time left together, so we have to enjoy it whenever we can, said Naruto. She took a breath as she got up to her feet. Are you with me, said Naruto. Yes, she said. Naruto jumped up in the air and cheered silently. That made her giggle. Alright then, let's go. As they move across the thick branch, reaching the end over the gate, luckily, they were covered by the many leaves that blossomed from the tree. And the roof of the house was nothing more than a 3-foot drop. It was really close. As Naruto jumped down, Hinata didn't jump down right after. Both of them were breathing heavily, not because they were exhausted, but because they were excited about what they were doing. We're out of there, said Naruto. Woohoo! He cheered silently. As he took her hand. Alright, let's go, he said. Meanwhile, at the hidden rain, Yaiko, kill me. 15-year-old Yaiko panted through the heavy rain as he looked up towards his best friend, Nagato, who looked at him seriously. Yaiko looked back and forth between his red-haired friend and his other friend that was being held captive by the enemy, his hand that was clutching a kunai as it was shaking badly. Don't do it! His head snapped back to Conan as she was on her knees, as she was being held by Hanzo, the leader of the hidden rain that had betrayed them. Don't worry about me. You two get out of here. Yaiko was torn as the fate of his two friends was placed on his shoulders. Hanzo, thinking that he and his gang were a threat, tricked them, and with the help of Danzo Root agents, he and his gang were currently surrounded, with no chance for escape. The only way to protect the life of his followers, Yaiko, had to kill his best friend Nagato, the leader of the gang, and also his best friend, yes. Yaiko! Nagato shouted out. Do it! No! Don't do it, Conan yelled. You better hurry up unless you want the girl to die. Hanzo yelled from his position of power. The choice was impossible for Yaiko though. How could he do it? However, the moment he turned back his gaze, Nagato had rushed forward, rushing right onto his kunai as he collapsed on his shoulder. You and Conan, Nagato said softly. You gotta stay alive somehow. You are the Messiah. I know you are. With your eyes, you can truly change this world. You can really. Nagato fell over, dead, blood leaking from his mouth. Nagato! Conan yelled. Tears well up into Yaiko's eyes as his eyes started to spiral. Yaiko had special eyes. Special eyes that his friends and him believed that could give them the power that they need to rid the world of chaos and suffering. However, Yaiko believed that Nagato deserved these eyes, not him. Not him. Why did this have to happen? The only thing he wanted was to protect his friends. If the war is gonna continue, then I will become the god of this world. Nagato's words echoed through his mind. Suddenly, hundreds of kunai started to rain down. Hanzo ordering his man to kill them all along with the roots. I will become God, Yaiko thought as he reached out. As he repelled every single kunai. He repelled them? How? Hanzo thought never seen something like that done like that before. Hanzo had to quickly jump back as Yaiko suddenly appeared and grabbed Conan. Explosive tags started to wrap around the ground though, and wrap around their legs before they explode. A lot of Yaiko gang was also blown up in the explosion. Even a few of Hanzo's own men who was unable to escape the blast and the root agents. Hanzo's eyes squinted as he tried to find out whether or not the blast had killed them. Did I get them, he wondered, waiting for the smoke to clear. However, it revealed a general safe. Yaiko and Conan was somehow standing beyond the spot. Yaiko, said Conan, as she noticed he was injured. Stay here. Protect Nagato's body. She nodded weakly as he stepped forward. His eyes were filled with such hate, enough so that even Hanzo was startled. Not bad, kid, Hanzo said, seeing that his opponent was still alive. I'm surprised that you were able to escape my exploding attack. Those eyes of yours, the Rinnegan, they truly live up to the legend that are told about them. Hanzo threw his hand down as he pointed. Kill them all, he said. As all the root ninjas, followed by his own forces, all leap down there. Time skip. Konoha Evelyn. As Naruto and Hinata made their way back to the alley. Luckily, Naruto remembered where it was. They spent the entire day going over Konoha, doing as much as a 4.5-year-old duo can do. They walk all around their imagination, making them feel the joy of adventure. One of Naruto's highlights of the day is gonna be a what's the word again? Oh yeah, ramen bar. The two of them were hungry and Naruto followed his nose. That led them to a ramen bar. Whoever was the owner had sympathy on them. He gave them 2 free bowls. Hinata's favorite part was when they climbed up towards the monument faces. As Naruto had found the stairs down at the bottom, they took half an hour to get up there. But it was worth it when they took the steps to see the whole village together. They were at a loss for words, it was just so amazing. After that they walked around some more, just enjoying the openness of it all. But when the sun started to go down, they made their way back. They were holding each other's hands. The only time they had released each other's hands was when they were eating, because they did not want to get each other lost in the crowd. There's a dumpster, said Naruto, as he pointed towards the dumpster that they used to climb down. As Naruto climbed up first before he reached down and pulled Hinata up. From there Naruto jumped up to the wall, his hand reaching the top. He then held out his hand as Hinata used it to pull herself up. Once they were on top of the roof, they climbed up on the branch as they climbed down before they jumped back down towards the orphanage building. Dinner! Everyone back for dinner! The orphanage woman said as both Naruto and Hinata breathed heavily. They made it back just in time. They looked towards one another as they both burst out laughing. That night, all they could think about was the joy that they experienced. The next morning, Naruto was happy as he dreamed about all the adventures that him and Hinata would do. Every single weekend, he jumped out of his bed and spread it quickly as he moved towards the cafeteria to speak to Hinata about their day. Sunday was just as relaxed as Saturday, so there was a possibility they could escape as well. However, he heard voices as he was walking. So, did you hear? As Naruto listened in. Yeah, I can't believe she's finally adopted. Naruto's blood run cold as he heard that, as he completely froze. I know, right? I guess that means he's all alone again. Naruto ran as fast as his small legs could take him as he moved quickly. There was no way. There was just no way. When he got to the cafeteria, he looked around. Everyone was looking at him, but he did not even look at them once, as he was looking for those special eyes. But he couldn't see her. He couldn't see her anywhere. He turned and sprinted through the halls. The adults yelled at him, but he ignored each and every one of them as he rushed towards the girls' dormitory, even though it was forbidden for him to do so. He ignored their screams as he made his way towards Hinata's room. As he stepped in, as he saw the empty bed with folded covers. On top of the pillow was Kitsune, lying there perfectly. Hinata would never go anywhere without it. That means Naruto grabbed the doll and rushed. Moving through the halls, he rushed towards the entrance. By the time he made it there, he saw several adults' faces that he never saw before. All of them wearing some white robes. They were speaking with the head of the orphanage, who Naruto had seen on several occasions. Being careful, he listened. Do you have the papers? He heard. Indeed, another voice said. Are you ready? Yes. Naruto went cold as he heard that yes. It was Hinata. He jumped out in the hallway. The tears in his eyes started to swell as he saw her. Both of their eyes connected as she was holding hands with a man in white robes. She had tears in her eyes. Hinata! No, he said. Tears falling from his own eyes as he realized his own fear was coming through. All of the adults turned as they saw him. Their face turned into a look of disgust. What is he doing here? Hayashi spat out. The man that was holding on to Hinata. The orphanage head looked angrily at Naruto and nervous at Hayashi. Well, we were forced to take him. The Hokage, I don't care, Hayashi said. Get that monstrosity out of my sight. Today is a monumental day for my clan, and I don't want it to be ruined by that abomination. Hinata looked towards Naruto with pleading eyes as Naruto was grabbed by the orphanage head as he started to pull him away. You've been a thorn in my side for too long, you fox, he whispered violently to Naruto. Well, that ends today. I'm going to make sure that your stay here is going to be hell, until I can legally kick you out of here. Naruto was not listening. All he could see was the crying Hinata. As Naruto did not care anymore as he bit the man's arm. Naruto did not stop until the man screamed out in pain and released him, which he then ran towards Hinata. As Naruto rushed towards her and hugged her, as she quickly wrapped her arms around him. I won't Forget about you, he whispered, as he pushed the fox toy in her hand, as he heard the adult screaming. She cried as tears fell on his shoulder. I'll never forget about you either, Naruto-kun, she said, as Naruto was grabbed and yanked away. He kicked and he punched, however. They were bigger and stronger than him. The last he saw of Hinata was her teary eyes. I won't forget you, the both of them said. Later that day, Naruto was violently thrown in his room by the head of the orphanage. Pack what little you have, scum. Because you're leaving today. I don't care what the Hokage tell me anymore. You will never step foot in this orphanage again. I'll be back in 5 minutes. The door was slammed right in his face. Naruto wiped his tears away. He picked up his bag as he stuffed all of his belongings inside. Today had been the worst day of his entire life, even though he's only been alive for 4.5 years now. It had been the worst. He could honestly say this day, even though what happened yesterday was the best day of his life, today turned out to be the worst. No, the best day was when he met her and they became friends. He and her were both leaving. However, this is not how they had planned it. He was separated from her and he had no idea what was going to happen to him. As his bag was pretty much already stuffed, he tucked his pillow under his arm and sat on his bed. As he just sat there thinking about her. It had only been half a year with her, but it had been the best time that he could ever imagine. Minutes later, the man entered and grabbed him by the arm, dragging him out. As he brought him towards the entrance where Naruto had last saw Hinata moments ago, he pulled him until they arrived towards the gate, as Naruto saw the guard there. The man then picked him up by the back of his shirt and threw him, as Naruto rolled on the ground. The gate was then locked. Good riddance, the man says. He spat right on the ground. The gate's locking forever, leaving him alone. Time skip. 1 month later, Naruto peeped out of the alleyway as he looked left and right before he stepped out of it, quietly. It was early in the morning and all the food shops in Konoha were opening up, which meant that all the food would be fresh and delicious. That is, if he was able to get away with stealing it. With no money, no house living, no one to guide him, no food, Naruto had taken to the path of stealing. It was his only option after all. After all, eating outside of the trash can and dumpsters outside the restaurants was only so good until he became sick or got caught. And both has happened far too many times with him for him to make that same mistake again. It seems like even the trash outside was too good for him in the restaurant owner's eyes. The demon thief, as they had begun to call him. Stealing fresh food had been his only option. However, with that, he got a lot of fame, but fame that he did not want. People started to recognize him on the spot and know that he was a demon thief. And he would occasionally be beaten up on the spot until he was bloody sometime or unconscious. At times he wondered why they never followed through with their beatings and actually kill him. They probably didn't want to get into trouble. So if his death caused him to get into trouble, that meant he must have some value, right? It meant that at least someone out there cared about his well-being. Or perhaps that murder was illegal. With poverty, the cruelness of life, Naruto got much smarter than he was. Kids his age wouldn't learn the things that he was learning for years to come. At 4 years old, he knew how to make a fire. Sometimes he had to hunt down animals and roast them over a flame. He knew how to steal, where to steal from, and what time to steal it at. He knew how to make his way around Konoha and spot out important key points so he would not get lost. Reading all those books in the orphanage really paid off, and he had no doubt that he would die without the extra knowledge. Naruto's sigh as the memory of the orphanage came into mind, while he hated the actual place. The thought of her, Hinata. She was his precious person. She was the one that made him actually like that place because she was there. He had no idea where she was, but one day, he will find her. He will grow stronger and he will take her and run away from this place. Only if she wanted to, that is. The only thing that kept Naruto from jumping off of the highest building and ending it all was knowing that someone precious was out there, like Hinata, who cared about him. He always thought about her as he wondered how she was doing. He wondered if she thought about him. He knew that she didn't know where he lived, however, he's not sure if he wanted her to know. After all, no one knew where he lived, which was quite important. He had to make sure that he had a place to hide after he stole the food, and a place to shelter him from the harsh weather of Konoha and the nights. Several times he had successfully stolen food, and he had went to an open area to sit down, and he was discovered. After 1 month, he understood that he needed a place that he could shelter himself in. That is where he was staying inside the alleyway, hidden away from the world. It wasn't just an alley, it led far back to an abandoned building. There was a large hole in the back of the alley, as Naruto had to crawl in. The 5-story building that was behind it was caved in and destroyed. He didn't have enough space, but it was more than enough for him. It was like his own personal cave. And the main entrance was caved in so no one could enter, except for the hole, where he crawled through. He was protected from the rain and even the cold when he built a fire inside. He had his pillar in there, a stolen blanket, as also several stolen objects and goods, and books as well. Naruto had stolen an old blanket and draped it over the hole so that no one would know that there was an entrance there if anyone ever followed him down here. He knew that he would have to do more to hide it, but until then, it would have to do. As Naruto dashed towards the bakery to steal some of the morning bread that was made. Moments later, it's him, the demon thief. The owner called as Naruto rushed out of the store. As Naruto moved to get to his hideout, swiftly evading people, Naruto weaved through the streets, making his way. He could hear the shouts of people. Which way did he go? Before anyone caught up or spotted him, he turned into the alley and rushed in a full sprint. He checked to make sure that no one was there. Once he realized he was alone, he lifted up the blanket as he crawled through. Naruto settled himself as he breathed heavily, holding on to the bread that he stole, as he placed it down in front of the fireplace. Pulling out a box of matches that he had, Naruto lit the flames. He had stolen dozens of boxes of matches. They were one of his most important items. The smoke started to rise up. He frowned. He needed to air out the place some more, as he couldn't allow it to fill up with smoke. But that was a job for another day, as he picked up the bread and peeled some off, as he started to eat, satisfied for the day. Meanwhile, at the hidden rain, 15-year-old Conan walked into the cave of their secret hideouts, pleased that she was able to step out of the rain. She dispersed her paper-made umbrella as she walked deeper into the cave. As it only took her a minute to run into her orange-haired friend, his back turned to the entrance. Report. Conan sighed as she looked nervously, even though Yaiko wasn't facing her. They died, all of them. Hanzo must have known that they were coming because she suddenly stopped, as the room started to shake like there was an earthquake. However, she knew better as she could sense the powerful flow of chakra radiating off him. Yaiko took a deep breath. As he turned, the shaking stopped, as Conan looked into his orange-tinted Rinnegan eyes. Then, that's it, he said, walking over towards her. First our families, then our followers, then Nagato, then everyone that stood with us is dead. Even Jiraiya Sensei abandoned us. Conan shook her head, hating the look of hopelessness that she saw within his eyes. No, she said as she grabbed onto his shirt with her hands. Don't you give up hope on me, she said. You're all I have left now. All we have is each other. We can still change the world together, you and I, she said. Yaiko couldn't help but smile as he looked down into her eyes. I haven't given up hope. I made a promise to Nagato that we would change this world. And if that means I have to become a god, then so be it. Someday, we will break this curse of war that covered the land. If there is such a thing as peace, then I will find it. Conan smiled as she wiped her tears away. It starts with Hanzo. I'll become stronger. Strong enough to kill him. Then I'll become the leader of Rain. And from there, I'll have the village under my hand. And then I will go beyond that. In order to stop wars, I'll create another gang. A smaller one, with stronger and more reliable members. I'll search the nations for them, picking out the strongest from each village. The two teenagers sat as they watched rain pour down. I will become God, he said as he placed his arm around her and held her close. I'll use my gift, and I'll be able to do whatever my mind can think of. I'll be able to protect you at all times, see everything at once, and I'll be able to be anywhere in the blink of an eye. Conan snuggling to him further. Maybe you can do all of that, but would you be able to stop this rain from falling if you're God, she said. She asked in a playful tone as she looked up towards him. Yaiko smiled as lightning flashed across. Yes, I'll even be able to stop this accursed rain. And when that happens, we'll finally be able to see the glorious red dawn that has eluded us. Daybreak. I like the sound of that. Time skip, Konoha. Half a year later, even, Hinata sat in her room on her bed, as she was wearing a rather expensive dress. Her only companion Kitsune sat right next to her. Today was a celebration of her 5th birthday. She was now 5 years old. And as part of a celebration, the Hyuga clan was throwing her a fancy dinner with the entire clan invited. Well, not the entire clan. Over the past few months she had learned that the clan was split into 2 parts, with the main family and the branch family. It was almost like they were two different clans in one. Upon hearing about that, she immediately decided that she did not like it. And when she learned more, she learned that she really hated it. The main branch that she was adopted to was the head of the Hyuga clan. They were like the royalty within the clan. They were given the best of everything. They ate better food, slept in better places, learned better jutsus. The branch family though, they weren't even middle class. No, they were like the servants to the main family, which sickened Hinata down to her core. They had to cook for their own food and for the main family. They had to sleep in tighter and worse spaces. They cleaned the compound and they had to do all the dirty work. They weren't even allowed to learn the sacred Hyuga techniques. But what she hated the most was the curse mark. The cage bird seal. This curse was placed on the branch member foreheads. It supposedly sealed away their Byakugan, the Hyuga Kikigenkai. When they died, it sealed it away. However, the real purpose was to keep them slaves to the main members. These marks could be activated, and when they were, she didn't even want to remember what happened. Her first encounter with it was when she was with Neji Hyuga, a boy, a year older than her, who was assigned to be her servant. While she was originally hesitant with this idea, Neji told her that it was an honor to be assigned to such an important person. The both of them had become somewhat friends. Neji was the only person she would only have fun with in the clan. He was a genuinely happy boy. He would always be nice and treat her with respect. He was like her bodyguard as well. Hinata was in the dojo one day training in the art of the Jayugen, but because she did not possess a Byakugan, it was difficult for her to learn the style of fighting. But she was not necessarily slowed down yet, because Hyuga children her age usually couldn't use their Byakugan until they were 6 years old. But she did not need the Hyuga. All seeing eyes see the cruelty of the mark. Flashback. Half a year ago, young Hinata Senju walked inside the dojo with Neji Hyuga, who accompanied her for the walk. She still didn't understand why someone so young was assigned to protect her, but she was forced to go along with it. Hayashi-sama told her that it was a Hyuga clan tradition after all. "Ah, you have finally arrived," Hayashi said, as he saw them walk in. Hisashi, Neji's father and Hayashi's twin, was sitting on the other side peacefully, smiling towards the both of them. How she wished that he was the head of the clan. He was so nice to her and everyone else. When she spoke about Hisashi to Neji, he would always smile as he was proud to have such a father. The two really bonded together, especially since Neji didn't have a mother anymore. She walked to the center of the dojo as she stood in front of Hayashi. She tried not to show any fear. She had learned day one that showing fear in front of him was a big mistake. Hayashi hated hesitation in all forms. He even taught his daughter Hanabi to be fierce and strong, and she was only 2 years old, barely learned how to walk. "You," Hayashi said, bringing her attention back on him. "You look just like a Hyuga. If I didn't know that you were a Senju, I would assume that you were already from my clan. Your face, your hair is the same, although it's different color. And your eyes, they share a resemblance with our clan. Except they don't have the pale look that adorned all of us." Hinata simply nodded as she did not know what else to do. Was it somehow ironic that she looked like Hyugas and she was adopted by them? She had no idea. She wondered what Naruto would say. "Very well, I taught you this simple Jayugen defense, an offense form for the past month. I assume that you were able to learn them well due to your blood. But now I want to see what you can do in a real fight. Come at me with everything that you learn. Treat this as a real battle." Hinata nodded as she dropped into her stance as she learned, before she charged towards Hayashi. When she got near him, she was surprised that he wasn't even defending himself, so she pulled back her punch a bit. She thrust her fist out as she palm hit him right in his stomach. After several seconds she looked up, as he had anger in his eyes. Had she hit him too hard? Moments later, slap! Hayashi backhand sent her across the room as she landed painfully. Neji got up, however Hisashi held on to him. As Hinata coughed and held her hand to her tear face, Hayashi turned his gaze towards Neji. "Restrain him, brother, or I will restrain him for you," Hayashi said. Hisashi nodded slowly, forcing the angry Neji to sit down. Moment later, Hinata got to her feet, tears streaming down her face. "I instructed you to come at me, like this was a real battle," Hayashi said. "What you did was pathetic. Now I will tell you once again. Come at me with all that you have. And wipe those tears away. Hyugas, do not cry." She used her sleeve to wipe her tears away as she dropped back in her fighting stance. This time she gave it her all as she thrust her palm forward in his stomach. But this time he smacked her wrist away and he pushed her back. "Your attack should be swift and quick," he said. Now, show me what you learned from a defensive stance, he said, walking towards her. She swallowed hard as she went into a defense stance. When he reached her, he spun and sent his foot towards her face. As she rolled to the side, do not dodge, parry. Block my attacks with Jayuken form. He came at her as he threw a simple punch forward, as she was able to block it though. As she threw her hand up at his wrist at the right time, Hayashi threw another strike as she painfully pushed it away, as he kept on throwing strikes at her, as she barely was able to block them. After a minute of this, she wasn't able to bring her arm up in time as he blew her back, as she landed roughly on the ground. Endure, he shouted at her. Stand up and take your stance once again. She slowly rose as she had trouble keeping her eyes open, her arms barely able to get up. He threw his arm forward as she quickly covered her face in fear, as there was a loud smacking sound that echoed across the room. Hinata opened her eyes as she saw that Neji had blocked the hit perfectly. She gasped in horror when Hayashi gripped him by the shirt and picked him up with one hand, as his Byakugan activated, glaring down at the child. I told you not to interfere, he said in a cold tone. Very well. I see that you have grown rebellious. It's time I introduce you to the cursed seal. Hayashi, don't, she said, as he got up and rushed over towards them. This is a tradition that must be held. Hinata, pay close attention as I show you. What? Separate the branch family from the main family. You will listen to my orders, he said, either in respect or fear. Activate. Hinata was horrified, as Neji screamed out in agonizing pain as Hayashi was still holding him up. Tears fell down her face as she watched Neji scream. Suddenly, Hisashi grabbed his son and pushed Hayashi away, causing the man to stumble. Why you? Hayashi glared at his own brother. Activate, he said. In the flashback, Hinata shot her as she relived that memory in her head. The curse mark was the cruelest thing that she has ever seen in her life. Naruto would hate it just like she did. As she wondered what he would do in her case, he would probably Hinata-sama. Her head shot up. Are you ready to go? As Neji was standing there. Yes, I'm coming, she said, as she got up and brushed the sheet down. Moving to the bathroom, she checked over her appearance that nothing was out of order. She gave Kitsune a kiss on top of his head as she laid him down and said goodbye. Hayashi-sama didn't want him to bring her to any important meetings even if it was her birthday. For a moment she wondered how Naruto had celebrated his birthday. After all, he was a bit older than her. She wondered where he was, how he was doing, how she missed him, as she couldn't wait until they meet once again. Time skip, Naruto domain. Dinner time, said Naruto to himself. Dressed in a black t-shirt with an orange spiral and tan shorts, standing up from his mattress, Naruto looked around the room as he inhaled a wonderful aroma as he was cooking there, over the fire. It had been over half a year since he was kicked out of the orphanage. His hair had gotten a bit longer and he also grew a bit taller as well. He has also grown some muscle tone, but it wasn't anything impressive. Believe it or not, his food intake was better than what he got from the orphanage, as he went for nutritious foods, and not to mention he had to hunt down the animals by running after them a lot, which made his muscles grow. Mentally, he had become sharper than the stolen kunai that he used to skin the deer. In just half a year, he had nearly memorized all the routes in Konoha. He knew the village at the back of his hand. He knew what food to steal and when to steal them. He knew how to even evade Chunin rank ninjas when he steal them. And he also studied up on the ninja system. He knew the ranks of ninjas, what their general job was, and their power levels. Chunins were the middle-aged and young adults that weren't that talented, and he was usually able to outrun them, even if he was only 5. Next up was Jonin. He could not outrun them. In order to escape them, which he did on several occasions, he had to trick them with something sneaky, or taking the alleyways, and going through places that only he could squeeze through with his tiny form. Anvu, and in some cases the Uchiha police force, were the highest up on the list, other than the village leader. When he did something really bad or stole something really important, those guys would come after him. They had only chased him down 3 times. Out of those 3, he was able to elude them 1 time, which was incredible. The most recent time they came after him was when he stole a large, very expensive box of explosive tags. There was a lot of them, and he had to evade the Jonins. However, he had rigged the alleyway with them. As he detonated all of them, he had injured several Jonins and Chunins. They had called for several Anvus, and the chase had begun once again. He had literally went through the sewers and several secret rooms, and he ended up finding a secret location in the Hokage's monument. That is where he currently was. His previous hideout was an escape route if he ever needed one. On top of the monument, hidden from view, Naruto had found a trapdoor in a large rock behind a tree that led straight down into a secret tunnel. This place was incredible. The actual room behind the monument was gigantic. He had nearly fallen over in shock when he discovered it. He had an idea that there was some sort of room back here, but he didn't know that it was that big. The first time that he was called by the Chunin, he was taken to a man that was titled the Hokage, who lectured him and made him do community service, which he had to do every time he got caught until he became a genin, which was the lowest form of a ninja. Naruto was curious about the man, so he snuck into the library and found a scroll about the Hokage. They were the man that was carved into the large mountain. A team of art-style masters from Konoha had carved the faces in there, but they had to carve the back part as well, giving Naruto the perfect opportunity to gain an actual home, which was rather amazing. He even had a section where he can practice taijutsu. It also had ventilation that allowed the smoke to get out and light can come in as well. Also, it had multiple exits, meaning that he could go either way. Naruto walked over to the deer as it was finally ready. He made his way to the top of the monument as he looked over the village. Every person was under his watchful eye, with the exception of Hinata. No matter how many times he scanned the people down below, he would never find the one person he was actually looking for. Each night he wondered what happened to her, where she had gone, if she even remembered him. Realistically, and he was sharp enough to know this, she had forgotten about him in a luxurious life of whatever rich clan that adopted her. Thinking about that made him really angry. He hated the world as it was, full of irrational judgment, hatred, and killing. He had little reason to even smile anymore. The only time he did was when he did something miraculous or when he thought of Hinata. She was the only precious person that anchored him to sanity. Deep inside under his skin, he could feel an evil, something so vile, something so corrupted inside of him. Something that wanted him to enact justice, to raise everything to hell. And also, on several occasions he heard a voice whispering to him. When he was running away, the voice told him where to go right or left, and it always led him somewhere safe. The voice was also telling him to kill, to fight back. But he didn't want to kill. He didn't want to kill, unless it was to protect his life or Hinata's, because he would kill to protect anyone that was precious to him. He just hoped that one day he would meet her again. He knew that he wouldn't most likely see her again unless he became a ninja. He and her shared the same dream when he was younger, to become a ninja, to escape the orphanage. He was sure that she still wanted to be one. That means she has to join the academy, and if he joined as well, he would meet her. But in order to do that, he had to become strong, really powerful, because he was sure that they wouldn't let him in unless he was strong. Whatever scroll he found or stole, he trained intensely hard. Whatever it took, he would become powerful. He would become one of the greatest. Chakra was the strongest element for being a ninja. The stronger the chakra, the stronger the ninja. The general idea was rather confusing though, and when he read about it, it became even more so. Chakra was divided into two parts, spiritual and physical energy. He had no idea what it really meant, or what was a Keiki Genkai, a bloodline limit. Chakra was a source of power though, and some people were born with special chakra, and because chakra was divided into two, they either had a special boost in spiritual chakra which would form a dojutsu, an eye technique or something like that, or they would have a physical boost would give them cool jutsus and stuff. Naruto wondered if he had anything like that. When Hinata had fell and scraped her knee, he took her days to heal. However, it only took him minutes to heal, and his eyes, he could tell that they were different, special. He would always catch things that no one else would catch and see things better than others. The scroll said that it was dependent on the person's last name. He looked up the name Uzumaki, but there was no Keiki Genkai listed anywhere. But he did look up the Senju. It was said to be one of the greatest and most powerful clans ever. They were said to have the ultimate Keiki Genkai in physical chakra, which meant they had the most powerful chakra in every clan regarding the physical chakra. Naruto wondered why would Hinata be in the orphanage if they were such a great clan. But he found that they were scattered off, or killed, or left Konoha. No wonder why she was so important. The Uchiha though, they had the greatest spiritual chakra, which gave them the strongest dojutsu. The Sharingan gave them the best vision, and allowed them to see movements and chakra, and also copy jutsus instantaneously. That sounded rather amazing. However, for now, he needed to make sure he had food for breakfast tomorrow. Time skip. Her birthday was just like she expected, rather boring. Adult politics stuff and her future. Once she was led back to her room by Neji, she had crawled through the window and headed up to the roof. As she enjoyed the beautiful sight, hoping that Naruto was somewhere watching this as well. Time skip. The next morning, Naruto prepared himself for the day, as he quickly made his way out. He didn't know any jutsu of now, however, he did know how to activate various traps and also explosive seals, as he took several Konans and shurikens in a pouch with him, as he made his way first down the water caverns, where he cleaned himself, as he made his way out in the street. Arriving out there, he was not worried about being seen. After all, the Chunin and store owners were not allowed to touch him unless they caught him doing something bad, and even if he did, got caught by them, well, he would simply fight back with his self-taught skills. One day though, he will have every part of Konoha as a trap, so if anyone came after him to hurt him, he would just use those traps. He would rig the entire place. Elsewhere, later, Shisui Uchiha was one of the most talented Uchihas. Even at the young age of 12 years old, he graduated the academy at 6 and he became a Chunin at 10, 2 years ago, and now he was a member of the Black Ops and Konoha Police. All of this at the young age of 12. He would be classified as a top genius if there wasn't one other boy that was good as him. Itachi Uchiha, ironically, he was his best friend. They had accomplished the same thing together. They graduated the academy at the same age, as they became Chunin at the same age and the same exam. Hell, they even tied in their final battle at Chunin Finals. The clan had high hopes for them, and it was hopefully that they would strengthen the bond between Konoha and the Uchiha clan. They were placed in the Anvu a few weeks ago, and Shisui was on his first mission, Specialized 1, because he specialized with his speed and also stealth. He thought it was a real mission until he found out the person he was spying on was just a kid, Naruto Uzumaki, Jinchuriki of Konoha. Why would he need to spy on the kid? Shisui had a good reason why though. After all, everyone knew that the kid had 9 tails, but the Uchihas knew something more than everyone else. The night of the Kyuubi attack, someone stood on the Kyuubi's head while the beast attacked. That man had faced the 4th Hokage for a short amount of time. The Uchiha clan had a strong guess who it was. There was only a select few that could control the beast. One of them being Hoshirama Senju with his Woodkiki Genkai. The other one being Uchiha Madara. They could not recognize the man from afar, but they saw the black flames that started to spread through the village. To any other ninja, that could be any other jutsu, but to the Uchihas, it meant much more. The Amaterasu, an ability granted by the Mangeto Sharingan. Only a few can use his power. Fukaku concluded that it was Madara that led the attack against Konoha once more. But that was impossible, right? The man was supposed to be old right now. However, even if it was him, what exactly happened to him? The 4th was a powerful man, but Madara Uchiha was a beast. A force of nature that could wipe away villages by himself. So what happened to him? Fukaku came to the conclusion that the 4th might have also sealed Madara inside of Naruto as well. This was a gigantic revelation for the clan, kept as a S-rank secret. That a child contained the strongest Biju and one of the most dangerous Uchihas in the world. The Uchiha had to have him. However, Fukaku had to be cautious, and he also wanted to make sure what he thought was true. That is why he gave him the mission to spy on Naruto and see if he noticed anything out of the ordinary. Even for a Jinchuriki. Now that he thought about it, this was a very important mission. It will determine the future of the Uchiha clan after all. Each child, when they were adopted, there was have to be a discussion, especially when the child was special. If the Hyugas had found out about Naruto that day, they would have wanted him. Sure, a Senju was important, but a child that possessed the Kyuubi and Madara Uchiha was far more important. So Fukaku had to play this carefully. However, finding the child took Shisui a while, but he did find him though. That was only because someone shouted out, "Demon Thief!" Shisui arrived to see his blonde target running out of Konoha Library, stuffed in several pouches, with scrolls inside. 3 Chunin level ninja came running out cursing and threatening Naruto. He smiled to himself, he finally found the kid. And he actually did steal and cause as much trouble as the rumor told about him. That would make his job so much more fun. Unlike Itachi, Shisui had this sense of humor. He wasn't a glary, brute Uchiha type. He loved to have fun. He jumped from roof to roof as he watched Naruto, weaving through and moving, the Chunins running behind him. Eventually Naruto ran down the alley as the Chunins came, shortly after. Poof! Multiple smoke bombs went off, erupting in the alleyway. Shisui used his teleportation / speed move to flash through as he made his way, trying to reach the end before Naruto as he lost sight of him. Shisui arrived to see Naruto jumping as he climbed on a rooftop. jumping with the small momentum. They were small enough for him to jump across, without even chakra. Ninja art. Camouflage technique, he disappeared from sight. The Chunins rushed out the alleyway to get to Naruto, however. Naruto submerged himself in the crowd. He was gone. The child was only 5 years old and he was so talented. Shisui was truly impressed, and he figured that the child taught this to himself. The way he carried himself, the way he moved. He was self-taught, Shisui could see that. Shisui grinned as Naruto went into a clothing store. As he waited. As for Naruto, he got some more clothing, as he needed them, because if he changed clothing more and more time, people would be harder to recognize him. Picking up his clothing, he immediately looked up as there was a Jonin ninja with a toothpick sticking out of his mouth. For a moment they looked at each other, until Naruto dived right through his legs and rushed out the store grabbing a pouch on his way out. "Hey, it's you again," said Genma, shouting at Naruto. Genma rushed after him. This wasn't the first time he met him, and the two wasn't on kind terms. "Get him!" Shisui saw, wait, was that Genma? As well as several other Chunins. Genma was able to keep up with him as Shisui chuckled the entire time, watching the kid run. "Oh boy, don't go into the alley," Shisui said. "You know what happened when you go into the BAM!" Shisui burst out laughing. Multiple kunais and shurikens were flying around, some even coming out in the street. One Chunin ninja got pinned to the wall, one was tied up in ninja wire. As Naruto ran into the side of an abandoned building, moments later only Genma came out of the trap. As he tried to reach Naruto, however, the kid jumped onto a zip line that was set up previously. Genma jumped down using chakra as Shisui followed them. As Naruto rushed into an alley and jumped into a dumpster, closing the lid. "Oh, don't check in the dumpster," said Shisui, seeing Genma looking around. As Genma looked around disappointedly, Genma walked up to the dumpster though. Shisui sighed. At least it was fun watching the kid at this point as he threw it open. But after looking through it for 30 seconds, Genma started to curse as he walked away. Shisui was confused. How did he escape? He did not understand. That is when he saw movement over the other dumpster, seeing that he was on a high roof. Shisui saw Naruto enter through the other dumpster, on the other side of the building. He then realized what happened. Naruto made a hole in the abandoned building and in the back of the dumpster, which he used to crawl out. He used a cardboard box to block the entrance, to make it seem like there was nothing there, just a rusty old box. Shisui had to wipe a tear from his eye. This kid was good, as he watches Naruto enter in a weapon shop. He would have to get Itachi to watch Naruto with him when he had the time. This kid was too good. Let's see what he's gonna do next, Shisui thought to himself, as he continued to watch Naruto. This was more fun than he thought. Unknown to Shisui though, what they all confirmed within the Uchiha clan was gonna be revealed today. Today he will understand why Fukaku was truthful about his words. Indeed, the fox was not the only thing sealed inside of Naruto. This beast might even be more dangerous than the fox, the resting Uchiha that will finally emerge, with Hinata being a big driving part of this. After all, the last Senju was very valuable. There was many people that wanted to take her away from this village. However, Naruto said to himself, he would do anything to protect his precious people, even going as far as to awaken the sleeping ghosts of the Uchiha without even knowing. So yeah guys, be in subscribe right here. If you want to see next person do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification as they posted. Remember, share to all your friends in the social media platform, and don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. Yes, I did a 4th and that I post 45 every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead, check them out and enjoy guys. But I'm off now, see you guys soon. Peace.